Man, Genesis 22 is wild. Not for any reason other than everything. The way I've been handling this biblical undertaking, where I am transcribing chapters and slowly reading them and allowing God to work in my mind to give me understanding. I try to seek understanding before I read these verses. I'm not saying that anything I come to isn't a revelation that hundreds before me have come to themselves, thousands even. I'm asking in each verse, what could the significance of this be? I'm seeking to look at all of the word through the lens of the almighty Jesus Christ, because it is through Christ that all of this Bible is fulfilled and everything thereafter. If you begin to look at the Bible from the perspective of Jesus Christ, everything in it leads to him. Literally, there's the lineal progression. Also, there's the symbolism. It's so beautiful. I have been a Christian for a long time, a wayward Christian at times, a Christian nonetheless. Christ has dwelt in my heart for a long time. As I grow older and become more serious in my faith, because of the sense of urgency I feel to share the faith, I'm beginning to see everything that I learned growing up in church. My father was a pastor and a chaplain in the military. All of these stories that I read them with such a superficial lens, because the story in and of itself tells great lessons and gives a great adventure in a historical context. But every single verse, and almost it seems every single word, has something deeper and more profound behind it. It is our job through prayer to gain a deeper understanding of the word as we invest in it, as we digest it, as we seek in it God's guidance and discernment and wisdom. So that's what I've been doing. Before I started, I said a little prayer. I said, God, give me the words that I need. Give me understanding. Let me see beyond the superficial, the first level. When we know that the superficial isn't superficial at all, I simply mean, let me see beyond the surface. Let me see deeper. Let me see deeper. We have Genesis 22. In this is the sacrifice of Isaac. God says unto Abraham, take now thy son, thine only son. That's the first time he says thine only son. In verse 2. In verse 12, he says, thine only son. In verse 16, the angel of the Lord says, thine only son. 3 times he says thine only son. Where else have we heard thine only son? John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That's 3 times we see thine only son. It's italicized, of course, in the Bible from scholars before. It's saying something. There's 3 times. He says, take him and go into the land of Moriah to a mountain that I will show you. Now, in history, people believe that Isaac was about to be sacrificed on Mount Moriah, but it doesn't say that. It says, to a mountain that I will show you. Do you know what other mountain is near that current day Mount Moriah? Golgotha. Golgotha is near current day Mount Moriah. I don't know. This is a thought, but could it be that Isaac was actually on the same mount that Jesus Christ was crucified all those years after? It's quite possible. So God says, go to this mountain. And Abraham, like I said before, he doesn't ever hesitate. He does what he has to do right away. Man, I admire that. I wish I was that way. I'm getting better every day. Are you? I hope so. So he goes and he listens to him, and he brings 2 young men with him, and they take a donkey and they start their journey. And on the 3rd day, it says, on the 3rd day, he looks out in the distance and he sees the place that he has to go. And so he tells the young men to stay behind, and he takes wood and fire and a knife and his son, who's carrying the wood, up the mountain. See, this is the divine inspiration. Isaac is the representation of the Jesus Christ. He's carrying the wood. It says, wow, I'm getting goosebumps. It says, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. That's verse 6. Isaac is going up the mountain carrying the wood, the cross. He's carrying the very thing he's going to be sacrificed upon. Holy moly. He's carrying the very thing he's going to be sacrificed on. Abraham takes him up there. He unhesitatingly says to his son, God will provide the lamb, because his son says, we have the wood, we have the fire, where's the lamb? He doesn't recognize that he is the sacrifice. Abraham, it's almost like Abraham knows there's no way God's going to make me sacrifice mine only son. It's his only son because Ishmael was outcasted. He was disowned. Isaac is his only son. He's going up there. He says, God will provide the lamb. Abraham puts his son on the altar and is about to put the knife into him. He's about to, but then the angel says, Abraham, Abraham. And in Hebrew, when you say things twice like that, it's like urgency, like stop, Abraham, Abraham. It's important. Listen, listen. He says, yes, I'm listening. He says, don't do it. You have shown great faith. You have shown that you trust in God. I will not sacrifice your son. Imagine if he had sacrificed his son, the very line that Christ comes through would not have been. But it's a foreshadowing. And here's the kicker. I will provide the lamb. Abraham lifts up his eyes, and in the thicket, a thicket is full of thorns. There is a ram caught by his horns, and the thorns, his horns, are his head. That's a crown of thorns. He's caught in the crown of thorns. The sacrificial lamb is caught in the crown of thorns. And Isaac's off the hook. They sacrifice the lamb. Again, it's said, I will bless you, Abraham. You have shown great faith. I give you children like the stars in heaven. I give you children like the sand on the earth. You will be blessed. Man, he names that area Jehovah Jireh, meaning God will provide. God will give you the sacrifice. God will provide his only son. Man, do you see the symbolism of all this? How magnificent it is. Verse 20 through 24, it's talking about Abraham's brother, Nahor, whose wife Milcah bore sons and daughters. Rebekah was of those. So we'll see more about Rebekah. Rebekah comes onto the scene. Tomorrow, Genesis 23. Genesis 22 to me is so beautiful. As I'm explaining it to you, I'm hit with more realization. That's the prettiest thing. Isaac is carrying the load, carrying the burden, the very altar at which he will be sacrificed, on which he will be sacrificed, up the hills to the place of sacrifice. Was that place of sacrifice Golgotha? Even if it was close, it's incredible. Have a good night.